Hello. It's been a while. We are back with more UCL commentary, Unova Champions League. This is week 4, I believe. Not sure, maybe week 5 actually. But yeah, we have Leoperi against Horrii. I believe I covered both players in other series in this tournament. So yeah, it'll be a good game. These players are both, let's say, rising stars in the sense that they're both learning a lot, and they could be seen in the big stage soon. So yeah, big hopes for them. Alright, so let's see. My first complaint is from Horrii's team, which is you don't pair the brown mons and then the green mons and then the red mons together like this, right? That's just bad looks, bad optics, I would say. So yeah, as for Leoperi, I believe this is a DICE team from SPL, from last year, so 2024 SPL. I think at least. I'm like 90% sure that's a DICE team from last SPL. Okay, so what do we have here? Well, we have Bliss is Lobro, so Thunderwave is Lobro. Zapdos is the most interesting one in this scenario. Zap is okay. It's an okay one. Zapdos' main weakness is always needing rocks to be off mostly, and also it performs best in sand, but obviously sand also cuts its lefties, so that's the main issue with Zapdos. So you need to give it proper support, which this team does give it proper support. Yeah, you're kind of fishing no Keldeo, obviously, with this 6. Like, Lobro Bliss is your defensive core, and Zapdos, you can outplay the Keldeo, right? So you can force the Secret Sword and then hard Keldeo, and then, yeah, you can outplay that, and then also you have a strong eye with Terrakion, so unless it's some specific situations, the Keldeo can switch out, should. And I guess it's Scarf Excadrill, so it's also... that's also happening, probably, so you can outplay the Keldeo. It's hard, and, you know, not the best, but as long as you're path against it, that's fine. Horrii's team, Terrak Excalando, Rotom Wash Celebi. I'm expecting Rock Celebi with, like, maybe Scarflando and Exca, but you can also... with this 6, the strength of this 6 is that you can run whatever set you like. So you can, I don't know, you can, for example, subpass with Celebi with 2 your threats, or you can have a, I don't know, like U-turn Celebi with rocks, and you can use the Volturn between Rotom, Celebi, and Lando to get Terrakion and Exca in. So yeah, this should be interesting. I will lead Zapdos for Leoperi. I think that's a pretty easy lead. It could be problematic. Not really. So if your opponent leads Terrakion, you can just hard into Slowbro, and then you're fine. Because yeah, your opponent can't double, but you know, you cannot really for that, so I think you lead Zapdos if you're Leoperi. So into Terrak, you immediately switch to Slowbro and see what the Terrak is up to. Into Rotom, it depends on your set. You can just attack it probably, and you probably should because you're pretty Rotom weak. Into Lando you win, into Ekka you win, into Celebi depending on your set, but I'm assuming this is like 3 attacks rules, so like Wall Switch, Heat Wave, Ice. So if that's your set, what do you do against Rotom? Do you Wall Switch? I guess you do. Yeah, so if it's Vol Switch Heatwave Ice, which is probably Zapdos best set, you should probably just lead it. And into Rotom, you just Vol Switch into Blissey. Yeah, like your opponent has no good place when everything is full health, right? So I guess that's like, yeah, he's going to Vol Switch into like Terrakion, but you have Slowbro, so that's fine. Yeah, just lead Zapdos. As for Horrii, you probably lead... I will lead Celebi in this matchup and get Rocks up. If it's Rock Celebi, but I think it is. If your rocker is Lando, then Celebi is Subpass. Then if that's the case, you should probably lead Rotten Wash and click your status move turn 1. Because unless you're against BC, then you just Vol Switch. I think that's what I will. So let's see if I got it right. We have Lando against Zap. I think Lando is wrongly. I think this is a misplay. I think you should lead either Rotom or Celebi, depending on your sets. If you're Rock Celebi, you lead Celebi. If you're Rock Lando, you should probably lead the Rotom Wash and click the status move on Zapdos. That's what I will do. So the idea is that if Zapdos is... like, most Zapdos are like Vol Switch, Heatwave, Ice, and Roost, which is a good set. Probably the best set for Black and White Overused. And so you can easily assume that and just... Rotom doesn't take much damage from any of these moves, and you also threaten stuff. And yeah, your opponent can just Vol Switch to Blissey, but Vol Switch is not going to do that much damage to Rotom, and you can just either Vol Switch out, or even if you, let's say, Will-O-Wisp or one. Let's say you Wisp with Rotom on the Zapdos and your opponent goes Blissey, then that's fine still, because you can just the turn after you can Vol Switch with Rotom and go Tyranitar actually. And then the Blissey will take... like, Blissey will be at, what, 60%? And then you can just Persuade it with Titar or R-Crunch or whatever. Then the next time, Rotom almost wins by itself, right? So yeah, that's why I will read Rotom. I didn't happen, so yeah, Zapdos into Lando into Zap. I think you just switch to Celebi, yeah. If you're Horrii. Oh, Arterak. Oh, it was Toxic Zap. Does this change things? Not really. At least not in my original vision. It's Toxic, so it could be either sub or dropping. I mean, you probably drop Ice with Toxic Zapdos, right? They kind of do the same job, which is kill ground types. Though I will never drop Heat Wave with Toxic, personally, because Ferrothorn exists, right? It's hard to tell from here. Okay, Toxic comes out, here comes Titar. Slowbro, yep, checking the Toxic Terrak. Yeah, so Terrak will be very strong into this, but it got Toxic turn 1, so you can just switch to your best counter, or at least your temporary check, which is Slowbro, and you're good. So yeah, Titar crunches Slowbro, good damage, and Skull comes out, no burn, alright. Here comes an interesting turn. Do you crunch or pursue? I think you crunch. If I'm Horrii, I crunch this turn. And I lost. Looks like Horrii also lost. Oh wait, that did a million. Is this Bun Titar? Oh, I guess it did 62 to Slowbro, right? So, okay, but here comes the hard part. If you're Horrii, your obvious play is going Lando. But if you go Lando on a Stone Edge, you die basically. So should you go Exca instead? But obviously you're kind of flipping coins in a sense, because if your opponent close combats and your Exca dies, you lost. Alright, let's see what happens. Lando is the safe play. Yeah, but you guys on edge for 70%. Yeah. That just happened. Back into FK, good play. 26. Alright, so this turn, if you're horrii, you're kind of behind. In fact, not kind of, you're pretty behind. Do you really want to click a move then FUD into Zapdos? I think you... But your Terrakin is toxic though. Man, I think you hard into Titar and get rocks up. Because I'm assuming at this point it's rocks. Yeah, the double into Ando doesn't make sense, because if Romanes switches out, they are going Zapdos, which is what happened. So, oh, it's lefties. So I guess horrii is like Zapdos reveal toxic, so it's probably hit no ice, which I think is a correct assessment. And then they're like, yeah, I'm just gonna get rocks up and then see a few things. For example, now you know you're slower than Zapdos with your Lando. Sadly, your Lando is pretty low, so you cannot U-turn for free here. If Lando was full, you could then just U-turn and tank the hit wave, but with Lando at 40%, this is not the best. Yeah, look at this. Lando is 43, so you can... horrii still goes for it. Yeah, this is exactly why I'm not sure if this was the right play. And then, yeah, you're kind of forced into Tita around Zapdos. But... okay, Volt Switch. Okay, let's see what happens. Crunch, 33%. This is going horribly for horrii. Like, this is not over, but as close to over as it gets, I think. Yeah, you spin like Leoperi did, and now... you know Zapdos is faster than Landorus. This could give you information whether to do anything with Excadrill. Spawn again? What? Okay, hold on a second. Alright, so... you know your Excadrill is faster, right? Because turn 11... Excadrill recovered lefties before the Landorus. So you... Leoperi knew Excadrill was faster. Or it was a tie, which would be very weird. So... I guess he wasn't paying attention. Right? I mean, why else would you do this? So, like... turn 11 revealed that Exca was faster than Landorus. So I guess he just wasn't paying attention. And so he spun again. But you know Landorus is leftovers, so... what? I mean, it's not the worst, right? Because now Lando should die to... no, he doesn't die to spin. Wait. What? Oh, opponent doesn't care and just gets them up again. Alright. So, Leoperi refused to acknowledge that he was faster than Lando, and as a result, rocks are up on his field. The end. And opponent refused to do anything about it, and yeah, he got rocks up, but... I think I would have just hard airquaked. Although I don't blame him for going for rocks, because if you get rocks up as your opponent switches to Zapdos, which I think is the play you expect here, that's also understandable, so sure. Alright, so rocks are up. you go Terrakion here and click close combat. Yeah, Zapdos is low, so you just click close combat. Zapdos cannot come in. Oh, you are... Oh, it's life for Terrak. Oh, this is pretty bad actually. Why did we let this get top? You close combat here. There's no universe in which you don't close combat. And it comes out, and goodbye Blissey, that's fine. Horrii... Wait. Rotom is still there and healthy. This Scarf Teeter? Alright, if you're Horrii here, what do you click? Teeter comes out, it's full health, you know nothing, you don't know if it's Scarf or whatever. You know X-Guy is lefties, you don't know the Terrakion item. Actually you do, because it Stone Edged your Landorus and it did 70%. So it's choice band. A +0, so it's 70%. So it's choice band. Alright, what's your play here as Horrii? This is probably Scarf Tyranitar. You can also tell from the fact that there's a Blissey on the team, so you don't need Chople Berry, because you have a better Focus Blast answer, which is Blissey. And you also have Zapdos Slowbro, so you can bait more moves into Blissey and recover it or whatever. So this is probably Scarf Tyranitar, and so if you're Horrii, what do you click? I think I got my own Teeter here. Yeah, I know, I'm sacrificing it and my opponent doesn't Zapdos, but... what else? You have to guess this turn, right? If you go, say, Celebi on a superpower, on a Scarf Superpower, then you're fine. If you go anything else on the crunch, you're also doing great. I think you should keep your Rotom as healthy as possible. I think I go Celebi here this turn actually, if I'm Horrii. Hard Celebi. They get it right. Rotom. I don't like Rotom. I think you need Rotom at full health. Yeah, this is max attack Teeter. Need 46. Also, this could be a pretty... Yeah, it's Scarf Rotom and it was low bulk and it trick. Okay. This looks pretty bad now for Horrii. I don't think he can win anymore. You go Celebi here and click Button Pass? Button Pass, probably. Or double. Oh, it's Nasty Plot Celebi? Okay, if it's Nasty Plot, it can win, because now you close combat. And Slowbro dies. Almost. But with Rocks, it's not coming in anymore. You can go Zap. I think you saved the Zapdos here. You probably toss something. Oh yeah, you can just toss Slowbro, of course. Save Zapdos for the Excadrill. So your opponent gets one more hit here, or not actually, no, it just it's Life Orb. Right. Sabi comes out and into Terrak. Scissor. Oh, it kills from Scarf? Oh. Wow, okay. It was Choice Band Scissor. And then he got Trick the Scarf, obviously, but okay. So let's say you expected that as Horrii. What other play can you go for? Do you hard Exca? I guess. But then what do? Do you double back into your Teeter? I think you've lost from that spot anyway, so sure. Okay, Horrii goes Exca. I mean, unless this is like substitute, yeah. Horrii just forfeits. Alright, well played. I think the lead was wrong from Horrii. I think he should have gone. He should have let Rotom wash. Although now we know it's scarred, so you cannot chill there as easily. I think you still lead the Rotom and just hard trigger one, probably. Unless you're against Zapdos lead. So if you lead Rotom and your opponent leads Zapdos, I think you hard the Celebi to scout the Zapdos set. Against anything else, you probably hard trick turn 1 or go for the Volt Switch Hydro Pump. The idea is that you really need lefties on your Rotom Wash in this matchup. So against anything defensive, you trick, and anything else, you attack with the super effective move. I think that's what I would have done. Instead, Horrii led with Lando is a pretty bad lead here, I think. He loses Zap, loses to Slowbro, which are the two most likely leads. It would be the Dexa, but I would never lead Dexa into this. It goes even with Lissei, which is also not the best. Yeah, no, I think leading Lando was bad. So you should probably lead Rotom Wash in this game. That or Celebi. I think Rotom, because you can then hard Celebi next turn, which is better than whatever happened. Right, on to game 2. Leoperi, well played. Pretty standard gameplay. I think the matchup was kind of in favor, especially after a lead, so yeah. But, you know, good place, and then you won. That's how you do it. Let's go into game 2, and we have Sun. Oh, what a team, man. Shoutout Lissei, Dragonite, Crest, Excantils, and opponent loaded D6? What? Okay, so on the Raiders we ran something similar to horrii, except there was no Seismito there. There was another guy, I don't remember who, I think Latios. So the idea was Toxic Spikes Tenta plus Reuniclus, and then you also have Ale, obviously, which is always a nice swell. But this team has a Phase Method, and I don't know. It looks like a more defensive team. And then, but do you want to run a weather that kills your main defensive guys? Gliscor, Phase Method, and Tentacruel all suffer in Hail to a point at least. Gliscor is fine still, but the other two really don't want Hail up. As for Leoperi, we have some Stall-ish with Dragonite. On these teams, usually it's substitute Dragon Dance roots the Dragonite. And I hope it is here too, because it's one of my favorite sets, but beyond that, it could still be. I think you need Magneson nowadays, though, with that set, but you can also fish Scarboy and not run Zone, I guess, which is also fine. Anything else? I don't know. Leads. If I'm Leoperi, I lead Blissey. If I am horrii, I lead Abomas. And then, if what I'm saying is right, you switch out the Aboma to Hard Gliscor, probably. I think that's the optimal outcome. Aboma comes out. Excadrill. Wait, why Hexca? What's the idea behind the Excadrill? Excadrill is pretty weak into this team, so maybe you can make a case for leading it. Because you wouldn't get many options or many ways to get Excadrill, so I guess this is fair. Okay, so yeah, of course, this is a bulky Excadrill though, right? So it's rocks. like probably Rocks Protect, Earthquake Spin. That's fine on this team because you have the Ubermonk Cresselia. So even like you don't touch Dragonite, for example, but you have a Cresselia which completely beats Dragonite. Dragonite doesn't exist in a game against Cress. It depends on a few other things, but in general, Cresselia is enough to completely annihilate a Dragonite existence. So yeah, I think this is just PTX with Rocks. So if that's the case, you can stay in Rocks turn 1 actually as Leoperi, which is what I will do if I'm right about the X set, which I'm pretty sure I am. As for horrii, this is a pretty tough one. You probably are the last courier actually, for the same reason. Like, you expect the XK to be defensive on this, so you just have the Gliscor. Yeah, your opponent gets Rocks up free, whatever. You activate Orb on Gliscor, and you probably you hopefully are knockoff in this build. Although you probably would rather be U-turn, so you can U-turn on Xatu and then go what Rocks will be up. Okay. Maybe you should have led Gliscor actually as already. It just occurred to me. Yeah, I think Gliscor lead was better actually. Because if you lead Gliscor, you're in a better spot than this. What do I click if I'm horrii? I think you're forced to go Gliscor and just knock off. And if Xatu comes in, that's fine still. You can just spam off or quick or whatever. Let's see. Ninetales. Seismitoad? Seismitoad on the X. I mean, Seismitoad on the X is okay. Depends on your Seismitoad set, obviously. You have a Gliscor, so you can even make a case for dropping Refresh for Orb. Do you really want to hardy your groundwater into Excadrim? Really? I would have gone Gliscor in turn. Alright. I mean, it doesn't matter because that's not what happened. So we have a 90s onto Seismitoad. Your Toxic Orb is not activated, so what's your switch as already? You can stay in probably. Yeah, you're fishing no grass move 90s, but I think that's only a low ladder special, so I think you just stay in. Xatu. Oh, very nice play from horrii mostly. So horrii correctly recognizes that Seismitoad kind of loses to, like, doesn't lose, but doesn't do anything to Ninetales beyond rocking, but also Ninetales will never click Wisp. Wisp maybe, but definitely not fire move. You can just go Aboma and that's fine. You have to be willing to sacrifice your health on, say, Wisp, like in this turn, like what just happened. Although it didn't, so you have Abomas now against Xatu. This turn, it depends on your Abomas no set. If you're offensive Aboma with like Earthquake Blizzard, you can consider staying in attacking. The problem will be that what are you attacking with? Like what's your move? I think you switch out here as horrii. I would hard Gliscor still. Just this is a raw hard Gliscor. That's what I would do. As for Leoperi, probably okay, depends on your spread. There's an additional layer of complexity in the sense that Alonso could be Scarf, though let's say it's not, but it could be also timid, and then if your Xatu is slower than Team Abomas, who runs at 2040 speed, what do you do? You just hard switch out, but you can hardly say, I think that's... Although do you know anything about Aboma? No. I hard Gliscor if I'm Horrii, and if I'm Leoperi, I hardly say. Oh, Leoperi doesn't care and just have tutors. I mean, that's fine. You're banking on a bonus though being not plus speed, which is a fair assessment. I would say there's a good chance you will be right, and Leoperi was right. And so 90 comes in, and what did Abomas do? Blizzard 22%. Yeah. I think if you stay in, you don't click Blizzard with Aboma. You know Aboma, you know Sat is not staying in. And even if it does, if it stays in, it's either U-turn or Heatwave. If it Heatwaves, you're dead anyway, so since you're staying in, you're banking on it not having Heatwave, and then you know it's U-turning, right? Because there's not much else Sato could do in this with this team. It's not getting screens up because there's no good screen abuser. Yeah, there's the Dragonite, but Dragonite is not that good with screens. Ironically, maybe, right? Like, it's not that it's bad with screens, but it doesn't really use them that well. And that's pretty surprising considering multi-scale and how strong Dragonite is as a stopper, but it's not that much better than without. But yeah, anyway, you probably shouldn't Blizzard like Sato with Bomas now. You should probably switch out or try to predict what's coming in. If you have Earthquake, you pick Earthquake. If you have Fire move, you pick Fire. If there's a potential Scissor coming in, or even GRG or whatever, right? But didn't happen, so Horrii Blizzard into the 90s. This is actually pretty hard turf for Horrii because they have no obvious switching, like to say Will-O-Wisp. Okay, into Will-O-Wisp you can go Reuniclus, but even if Ninetales is a very weak mon, you cannot just harm Reuniclus with Sun up like this. I think you have to though. I think if I were Horrii, I would Arbor Reuniclus this turn and then immediately into Gliscor. Okay, you protect, that's fine. I don't like it actually because I think I would rather bait the Will-O-Wisp. Now you add another layer of guessing in a sense because your opponent knows you have protect, so they might be not want to click Wisp. Compared to the turn before where they most definitely like to click Wisp, right? Like turn 3 Wisp was super free. Turn 4 is slightly less free. I think though you should still click Wisp if I'm happy, but if I'm Horrii, I don't know, I would have rather gone Reuniclus last turn. It probably doesn't matter. Okay, it didn't matter. But yeah, that was a consideration, sure. Reuniclus comes out, hard Calm Mind and hard Dragonite? It is sub DD Knight. Okay, this side is very broken, I would say. Alright, but not against +1 Reuniclus. Sub again. Psyshock. I mean, technically Dragonite can PP stalls this. In fact, it should, but you lose a lot of your own PPs in the process. Is this really... I guess Leoperi is okay with this. Except, yeah, this happens, and now you do have leftovers, but I think you go back into Reuniclus if you're Horrii. In fact, you could have just hard Blizzard, but I think you should switch to Reuniclus. Or guys, Gliscor is also good, yeah. Good play actually. I'm assuming this Swords Dance Gliscor. It is, yeah. Nice Swords Dance. Okay, so if you're Leoperi, you just hard Crest, right? Because Gliscor does nothing to Crest, even a +2. Even with like Facade. Even a facade crit will not do that much. Oh, okay. Leoperi goes for the... Not saying it's greedier, but it's slightly greedier in a sense. That doesn't probably matter. Okay, so this is Ice Beam Crest. And here's the cool thing. You have a reflect up, so you're going to take 0 damage from +4 facade, and you can just Ice Beam the Gliscor. Ice Beam is going to 70%, so it's enough to kill it in 2. Yeah, Horrii doesn't want to play into that, so harder it is. I think you double out. Nice play by Horrii. This was a very nice play. Problem here is that your probably is lower than Xatu, so U-turn will do too much damage and also get 9+ in. And you probably don't have Earthquake, so you have to switch out to Gliscor. Sorry. Tentacle? I don't like Tentacle. It probably doesn't hardly matter, but I think Gliscor was the better switch in. Gliscor forces Ninetales out, and then you can immediately go Aboma, and then you can go back into control to a point. And going into Blissey gives you 0 control on the pace of the game. Okay, these spikes are nice, because they make your Gliscor dangerous and you can win the Weather War, which is nice, because if Fail is up guaranteed, the Reuniclus can win. So that is fine. But I don't know. I think you are Reuniclus here if you're Horrii. Like, this very turn, I will not pay this help. Because, like, what did you accomplish? Now your opponent just clicks Ox again with Lissei on the Tentacle. Okay, knockoff is okay, but I think I don't know if it's not enough, right? Nah, this... Yeah, you are sacrificing your Tentacle for nothing. There's no positive outcome for you as well here. Second Toxic Spikes, I think it's probably worse than just one, in fact. I mean, it's better because you would hard Tox the Blissey, but I think these layers are getting spun away by the Eska. I would rather have only got 1 up and then gone harder Reuniclus on turn 20. Okay, turn 19, Toxic Spikes from Cruel and Rocks from Blissey. And then turn 20, I think you just harder Reuniclus and boost with Calm Mind. And then your opponent has no good plays into that, because your Reuniclus is burned, so your opponent cannot stop Thunder Wave with Crest. And so what can your opponent do? Blissey is not going to do anything to Reun. They have a Excadrill, but you're probably Psyshock on this. So yeah, they can only spin once, in theory. Whereas with this path that Horrii took, they're kind of stuck with this Tentacle against Blissey, but they're losing it. Like, yeah. Scissor, nah, this is looking almost stolen now. Like, you turn with Scissor, which is okay, but... Yeah, but now what? Do you go Aboma? Aboma is your best play, by far. But also Aboma will take a lot of rocks damage. Can I score? Sure, but there's a crest on the other side, like... Yeah, you put some for 16. I think that this... It wasn't easy for Horrii anyway, but... This just kills your chances of winning. Oh, it's Calm and Crest. Maybe this was harder than envisioned anyway. Okay. I think you are Focus Blast here, sorry. Surely you're Focus Blast. Please hit. Oh, I mean, I have no horse in this race, but hit. Nice. Got him. I think you have two Arda Bomas now. Like this turn. After Excadrill dies and gets T-Spikes out, you Arda Bomas. The reason is that you really need to stop the crest from winning, which with Hail Up it doesn't win, at least not as hard. With this path that horrii is taking, you're kind of banking on critting and or not getting crit. Even a Psyshock crit at +6, I'm pretty sure it doesn't kill crest even remotely. Like, it does what? Probably 60%? 70? But then it can just Moonlight. Then... Look, I'm gonna skip a few turns because, yeah. Look. Revinclus Psyshocks and crit and does 63. Right, this is exactly why you shouldn't engage in this. Because turn 37, Cresselia clicks Morning Sun, Moonlight rather, sorry, and goes back to full. And what are you going to do with 11 PPs? Unless you crit all of them, you're kind of screwed. Like what? Look at this, plus 57%. And you're stuck doing 30%. So your best outcome here is like PB stalling the crest yourself. But is this really what you want to do? This turn you should go Aboma probably, but it's already too late. Should have gone Aboma now way earlier. Nah, this is lost for horrii pretty much. You don't win this from this spot ever. You need like 3 Psyshock crits in a row. In fact, 2 will be enough, except for the bit where you have to get them in the right turns. Well, I guess if horrii crit turn 41, that could have been one. Well, now you go Scissor as Cresselia goes back to full, and here you turn, and then like what's your follow-up? You should just gone Abomas the way earlier. You go Cruel here, and Cruel will spin. Cool. You can knock, sure, but at this point it's done. There's no how. Cresselia just wins. It's too late to do anything, except you took this what 35, so yeah, it's just done. +6? I don't need 48, 45% by the way. Yep. Doesn't matter. There's no way to kill Cresselia anymore. Okay. You two crit here will kill Cress. Oh wait, it was Bug Light. Crit can kill with a good roll, so go for it. 46. Okay. You tanks. Well, the problem here is that your opponent goes Sato and you kill yourself on the Rocky Helmet. And you have no spin anymore, so you're out of... You SD here. Actually, this is still winnable, right? So you SD here and Facade and crit. That will win. That's the instant win. Do you go for it? Or you didn't go for it? Yeah, no, that is that. You still need a crit. A crit here will still win, I guess, so that's fine. Facade again, and no crits. And you tag? Wait. Does guy score win from here? No, right? There's a D-Knight here. D-Knight is faster, so you go Statu and die to Facade, take Rocky Helmet, and then apparently it should be faster than this guy's score, judging from the damage, so this is probably fine. 90 is probably also faster. Okay, if you're the ultimate Giga Chad as horrii, you can protect there and just mega outplay your opponent. That's an instant win, but that's a pretty hard call to make, and they don't make it. I don't blame them, and the problem here is that, yeah, 15% is not enough. You just DD. Don't even die to create WoW. Protect as glide score, and maybe you outplay your opponent, and that didn't happen. Wow. This is a very risky substitute, but okay. Hey, if it wins, it wins. Oh, maybe it wasn't that risky. Never mind. And yeah, that's it. I think the main issue was letting Crest go to +4. You probably should hard Abomas on Crest that one turn. When was it? Wait. Way earlier. Alright, so after you kill Exka and Crest comes in, like, I think you go Aboma here. Turn 31, you go Aboma. And then you go back into Crest. This turn, alright, you kill Exka with Focus Blast and Crest comes in. Okay, so here, you know it's Calming Crest, so you know it's Moonlight, and you know it's Psychic Stab, probably Psyshock. So just add Roma this turn. And then you immediately switch to something else. So the idea is that Ninetales is toxic. So yeah, you can immediately go Tentacle if you're about that life. Tentacle is kind of low, so not that easy, but I think you should still do that. Yeah, I think you immediately go back. Okay, so turn 31, you go Aboma on the Crest. And Crest did Calmine, that's okay. I think then you go immediately into Scizor. Because Rail will be up, and then you can U-turn for free basically, because your opponent has place. And then you're very close to setting up a strong Crest win, because after the U-turn you can go Seismitoad, Tail will be up, and then you have probably double one more time, and then you won, right? Because as it played out, like, Revolcos is never beating Crest in Sun. Like, even here, like, you will need a lot of crits. Which, you got a few, but not enough, right? Like, yeah, Crest just won because you let the Sun up for free. And yeah, you can make a case for, yeah, but if we went this way and got one crit glide score, I would have won. Yes, that would be correct. Except you could have avoided Nitian crit by going Abomas not there, especially since Ninetales was toxic. And with Exka dead and Ninetales toxic, this one was actually pretty strong, especially with Abomas and glide score in the back. Yeah, I think this was very winnable for me. How did it end? Reun again, but yeah, that yeah, Reunic was not small, but Crest only has one Moonlight, but D-Knight just PP stalls this. Like, you have 13 attack moves, 12, and D-Knight has Overused. Yeah. And you need to touch up the suit to break it, so yeah. And also Salisse, so yeah. Nah, leoperi99. I'm gonna skip turns because, yeah. Yeah, I think the mistake was going for the 1 versus 1 with only plus against Cress. Without that, I think it's very winnable for horrii. The Cresselia in Sun. Okay, so here's the heuristic I go for. Cresselia in Sun is an Ubersmon. It's actually Lugia, but better in Sun. So do not keep Sun, do not let Sun up for free like that. You're facing an Ubermon. That's how I view it. People will disagree because yeah, it's pretty reductionist in the sense that Cress kind of doesn't pose a serious threat even after a Calm Mind. After 2 it starts being annoying, but in general, if Sun is up, Cresselia is literally Lugia levels of bully. Yeah, so don't let Sun up like that for free, and do not go for a 1v1 with ability stopper against Cress, because at plot 6 you're going to do 30%, like what happened in this game, and then you're kind of lost. So yeah, I will just... Yeah, I know rocks are up, so going Gardaboma stinks, but, you know, I think that's a much better play than going for the 1 vs 1, where you will need like 3 crits in a row if the Cress user is paying attention. So yeah. Aside from that, the game was very good until that point. So yeah, maybe a bit of inexperience playing against Cress, which is fair. Nobody runs Sun. Very few people run Sun nowadays, so you don't see it often. You don't see it in action or play against it often, so you're kind of unsure how to deal with it unless you're a long-time player. So I understand why you would not play perfectly into it. So yeah. Yeah. Fun Cecil. I like seeing Sun. I don't like when Sun gets a free pass like this though. The cool thing about Sun is that if both players know what they're doing, it makes for very interesting game states. But yeah, next time will be better, right? So yeah, I think horrii got knowledge gap this game, I would say. Game 1, I think the lead was strong, right? Yeah, but beyond that, like, it wasn't terrible. So yeah, could have won with a couple different plays overall, so not the end of the world. So yeah, it was fun to watch and to comment. So yeah, see you next time.